This is J. Krishnamurti's 12th discussion with teachers and students at Brockwood Park, 1973.
Should we go on talking about what we were discussing last time we met? Should we go on with that? Do you remember what we talked about? Do you remember it?
We were saying that a relationship is distorted by the presence of I. I mean, to be concise.
Remember we were talking first time, you asked, what is love? Remember? And we said, it's like a map that's very complex. And in looking at that map, we said what struck us most was relationship. Do you remember? Yes? Say yes or no, because for goodness sake, we're not playing a game. And in that relationship, various forms of neurotic distortions take place. And these distortions take place when we create images. Remember, we talked about that a great deal, right? Yes. And what is the relationship between the image that you have and the other one has about you? The mutual images that each one of us build. And we said, in talking over, that these images are based on the principle of pleasure and pain, right? Shall we discuss that this morning? Now, before we go into that, remember I showed you some breathing exercises, yoga. Remember? I think, if I may suggest, don't do those. They're too complicated for you. They're too intricate. They're only for very kind of advanced breathing. So I would, if I may suggest, follow Mr. Fowler. What he says teaches you. Don't throw what I have said to you overboard and learn what he teaches. Is that all right? Right? Right. What do you think is pleasure? How does it come about that human beings right throughout the world, whatever their ideologies are, whatever their political inclinations are, pleasure seems to rule mankind? Would you say that is so? What do you say? And what do you mean by pleasure? These are the two principles, with their variations and complexities, seem to guide and hold man in a kind of trap, in a mold, in a pattern of a particular form of behavior. Have you noticed that? We are discussing. This is not a talk by me. It's a dialogue, exchange. Please talk about it, discuss it with me. Have you noticed this in yourself and about you? That pleasure may express itself in arrogance, in cleverness. Say, I'm showing off. Trying to be better than somebody else. It's got so many subtle and obvious forms of expression. Have you noticed it? In yourself first. Don't look at somebody else. Right? Have you noticed it? Right. What do you think is that pleasure? What is pleasure? Then we will discuss the various forms of pleasure. Sexual, ambitious, imaginative, ideological, pleasure in righteous behavior, and all its opposites. So we'll go into all that if we first understand what we mean by pleasure. How does it come about that man is a slave to pleasure? We're not saying there shouldn't be pleasure. You understand? We're not saying pleasure is dreadful. We are trying to examine and explore what pleasure is. If you have noticed in yourself, all your behavior, all your inclinations, when you are trying to show off, when you are trying to be awfully clever, trying to be, when you feel yourself very superior, these are all the expressions, obvious expressions, superficial expressions of pleasure. So we are trying to find out what pleasure means. What does it mean? How does it come about? Come on, discuss with me. What's the matter with you? Come and discuss it. You're not dumb. You talk an awful lot. When you're by yourself, I hear you chattering away like magpie. So, what do you think is pleasure? How does it come about?
Stimulant from outside.
Stimulation from outside. Now, what do you mean by that?
It's more, actually, I corrected, stimulation in doing something. You get a certain...
No. We are saying, we are asking, what is the meaning of pleasure? How does it arise? You say it arises through stimulation. Right? Have you noticed in yourself how it comes about? Come on, Lais, you come on to, how does it come about? How does it arise in you? Come on, Gregory, exercise your brain. This is part of your education, not just merely learning Mathematics is part of of the exercise of brain to find out what pleasure means to you, how it comes about, why the mind is so attached to pleasure. You follow? Come on.
It takes you away for some time.
Huh?
It takes you out of yourself.
Yes, but I'm asking, listen to my question. First, what is pleasure? How does it come about? How does it arise in you? Look, you look at that plant, don't you? You see that plant, don't you? Does it give you pleasure? Come on, with them this morning. Tired?
It does give you pleasure.
She says that gives you pleasure.
Depends what you mean by pleasure.
Good old Tunki.
Same thing.
Look, Tunki, I am asking, how does it arise in you? What is the process? What is the beginning of it?
You see something beautiful and it gives you pleasure. And
Now-
then you want to continue it.
No, wait. You see something beautiful. Now, you see that. Do you? You see it. Look at it, Gregory. Now, what takes place?
Isn't the beauty already an idea about it, sir?
What's that?
If you say it's beautiful, isn't that already an image about it, sir?
Of course. You look at it. What looks at... All right. I'm asking how pleasure arises.
You see or you do something, and it produces a certain feeling, and some feeling which we want to, that is pleasure. I mean, that rise from there.
Look, Tunke, you look at your car. There is visual perception, isn't there? You see it. Then you touch it, don't you?
Yes.
What? Listen to what... You look at it, you touch it, there is a sensation through contact. If that sensation through contact gives you pleasure, stimulates a feeling, which you call pleasure, don't you? Come on, sir, come. What is the matter with you all? Are you tired this morning?
No, I don't see this.
And I'm asking you a question. Are you tired this morning? No? You are tired? Huh? No, she's nodded her head, she was tired. So you don't have to speak, go to sleep. Probably you all got to sleep anyhow, so go to sleep. Now, let's find out. Don't complicate the issue, just take it step by step. I see a car. And there's visual perception. I like the lines, the proportions, the balance, the color. Then I feel it, I move around it, get inside, touch it. So, perception, contact, touching, sensation, right? If I don't like it, I say I don't like. You follow? Contact, sensation of pleasure or not pleasure. Right? Right? Be simple. Seeing, contact, sensation of pleasure or non-pleasure, and the desire from that says, I like to own that car. You are... Right, Gregory? Wait, keep it simple, old boy. We're going to complicate it. Keep it very, very simple. Right? At the beginning. Why didn't you think of that? Why had I to tell you?
I was thinking, I didn't quite know how to put it into words.
That's all. So, we are both learning. They are learning through communication, which is the usage of words, and without words, there is no thought. Thought is word. I must go into all that. It's too complicated for the moment. So, sensation, contact, pleasure, from that desire to own or to put away, run away from it. Right? Right? And when you observe all our activities, most of our activities are based on this principle of pleasure and pain. Right? Right? Now, we are saying, if we have understood that, what place has pleasure in relationship? That's what we are discussing. We are discussing, talking over together, love. We said love was or is a movement of relationship, isn't it? We said that's the main current in love. Didn't we say that? Right? And don't agree with me. You all said the same thing, therefore I'm repeating it. And exploring it, we say there is pleasure in relationship. And what is pleasure? We have seen what is pleasure. Therefore, we are asking, what place, listen to it carefully, what place has pleasure in relationship and love? You understood? Tunki, have you understood my question? Look, Tunki. Yes, wait. We said love can only exist in relationship. In looking at the map of this very complex problem of love, we said the main stream, the main road in that map is relationship, right? And we're asking now, what place has pleasure in relationship, which is love, right? So what place has pleasure in relationship and in love? Come on, sir, talk it over. Let's talk about it. I love you. Which means I am related to you. My relationship may have great many images which I have built. And you have built about me, your images about me. And I have images about you based on pleasure and pain. Right? Right? We are beginning to see good. And we say, what is pleasure? We've seen that. And is that the guiding principle in our relationship? I love you. Let's look at it carefully. Because I like your company. That gives me pleasure, right? I like you because the way you walk, talk, and hold yourself, the way you eat, the way you look. And if you're rather dirty, I don't quite like it. But I like you to be clean. And also, I depend on you. I like your company. I don't like the company of another. I like your company. So, I depend on you to satisfy me, to satisfy my pleasure, which is to have your companionship, your friendship. So wanting your friendship, I depend on you. Right? We're learning this, aren't we? We are not repeating that. We are learning this together. Right? I depend on you. I depend on you to go out for a walk. I depend on you because we can talk together easily. I depend upon you because you flatter me and I flatter you. You don't say harsh things. You don't criticize me. Because the moment I criticize, I don't like it. So I'm going to maintain the pleasure principle as long as I can with you. Right. Then if you're the opposite sex, that is, you're a fair woman, I say I love you. I like all kinds of things about you. And so on, so on. Sex, all the complications of it. So my relationship with you is based on various forms of pleasure, which may be physical, inward, psychological, or imaginative, romantic, fanciful. Are you following all this? Right? I've read a novel, there is a heroine, I create you into that, try to fit you into that image. I like that novel, that heroine, and I say, by Jove, she nearly fits in there, I like that. So, my pleasure is romantic, imaginative, speculative, actual, physical, and so on, right? That is my relationship with you. And I call that love. Right?
But I don't see how you can get away from it.
I'm not saying get away from it. I never said that. We are examining it. See what is implied in it. We're going to see what is implied in it. So I depend upon you, right? Then what takes place?
The moment you depend on somebody,
there will be automatically fear for losing you.
Then what takes place?
Then that,
Huh?
well, yeah, she said attachment, but then
But what takes place? Be actual. Don't theorize about it.
well, then is that love? Could that be?
What takes place? We'll find out what love is presently. What takes place? If I am attached to you, I depend upon you, and you push me off, what takes place?
A division between us.
Yes, then what takes place?
Hatred.
Huh?
Hatred. Conflict.
Pain? Right?
Pleasure turns to pain.
Wait, pain? Now, what do you mean by pain?
Remembering something, the nice time that you had,
Yes?
and then now what's happening, it seems is, well,
That thing is broken.
it's broken, makes you sad.
The thing is fragmented. Now listen to this carefully. In that companionship, in that dependency, I felt whole, right? It was broken. The breaking is pain. Please see this carefully. No, this is much more complicated. I don't want to go into. Look, being with you has given me great pleasure. And that makes me depend upon you. I don't realize that I'm depending on you, but it's good. I feel healthy. I feel, you follow? I feel whole. I feel happy. I feel that, it's a something total. But when you put me away, I break that thing, don't I? So any breaking up is pain. Look, I'm attached to this house. If I am. I'm attached to this house. I guard it, I insure it, I do this and that. And I feel at home. I feel secure. I feel I have identified myself with the furniture, with the house, with the lawn, with the tree, with all the ambiance, with the beauty of the land. I've identified myself. And I lose them up. And I can't keep it up. I have no more money anymore. So there is a breaking up. You're following this? And any breaking up brings pain. I'm attached to this house, and circumstances force me to leave the house. Right? So, where there is division, there is pain. I wonder if you understand this. Right?
So must the breaking up necessarily bring pain, sir?
I am attached to this house. Circumstances prevent me living here. That is pain.
Must it necessarily be
And
so, sir?
no, as long as I am attached, it must be.
Yes.
As long as I feel comfortable, secure, identify myself with this house, and I feel in that identification a sense of being complete, right? Circumstances force me to leave the house. That is breaking up. Then, because I am attached, I feel the pain. If I am not attached, I don't. Right? You see that, Gregory? Apply it to yourself. Don't keep it up here. So, in relationship with you, to whom I say I love you, this is involved, this attachment, dependency, satisfaction, security against loneliness. Are you following all this? Huh? So, you are mine and I am yours. We possess each other and feel safe, secure. Something happens. You follow? I won't go what happens. Dozen things can happen. And the thing is broken. And I become terribly unhappy. Take to drink, take to all kinds of things. Go off to search after God, go become a Hindu, follow a guru, really follow. The circus begins. So I'm learning that in relationship, where there is this principle of pleasure, right? We've explained all that. There must be pain. Right?
I wonder what make me attach myself to something.
What makes you attached? What do you think? Why are you attached to your car, to your house, to this house? Why are you attached to it? What makes you become attached to it? Examine it. Don't let me explain it. Find out for yourself. What is the process of attachment? Go on, you tell me.
I can work through example, but
What?
I was thinking of us working through example. Say, take. I was doing something which gave me a nice feeling.
Yes.
And time says I have to stop because some reason. And the other work which I'm doing is equally interesting. So I wouldn't mind too. There is no division in that.
I know.
But now...
Wait. What are you saying? I move from one activity to another, which gives me pleasure. I don't break it. One day I fly the kite, next day they drive a car, third day do something else, but it's all on the same level. It's only when there is a dip and a break, then I realize. You understand, Tunke?
Yes, does it mean because sometimes it happens even with work like washing up, which
Washing up dishes?
yes, I mean it doesn't.
But as long as you get pleasure out of it, look, Tunke.
So does it mean the art is to get pleasure out of anything you're doing?
No, I am not telling you what to do. I'm not telling you what to do, but first see what is involved in it. We're not saying what you should do. Oh, for goodness sake. You will find out what to do when you understand this whole movement of relationship and pleasure. Look, Tunke, I'm a Buddhist. I drop that and become a Christian. It is the same principle going on, right? I drop Christianity and become a follower of Zen. But it is the same thing. Right? So, I buy a car, a house, if I have the money, and so on, so on. All based on this principle of pleasure, attachment, and relationship. So, I won't get going, go on.
Then did you say that one wants the house, the car, because one wants pleasure?
Or need. I need a car to go to...
I somehow thought that you said because of pleasure.
No, wait. But see, I need, because I live far away, to go to town, and there is no train, no bus, I need either a cycle, you follow, or a car. So I'm beginning to learn. There is a distinction between need and pleasure. Are you learning all this?
So
I need food. Just listen to it. I need food. But pleasure takes over. I need wine with food. I need, you follow? The need and the pleasure, which is dictated by my tongue. Right? Which is my thought. Says, it's good to eat, to have food, but I like a little more hot food, chili, whatever it is. I'm gradually increasing the principle of pleasure and replacing the need by pleasure. Oh, come on, sir, you think it all out. You got it? So I'm saying, I'm asking you, what is the place of pleasure in relationship which you call love, right? So what is the place of pleasure in love? Have you understood? Now answer me. Tell me, I am ignorant. Tell me, discuss with me.
So can one ask whether it has any place at all, sir?
What, sir?
Can one ask whether it has any place at all, sir?
Any?
Any place at all?
We're going to find out. Don't say yes or no to anything. We're going to find out.
Sir, you said before that as long as there is division, there is pain.
And don't accept what I say. See the truth. As long as there is India and Pakistan, England in an island and Europe under a big island, division must create trouble. Right? As long as we are all one, all human beings one, with their problems, with their all together working as one people for the helping of each other and so on, one world, one government, one set of rules for everybody, there is no problem then. But if it is limited to England, Italy, economically, socially, morally, religiously, there must be division. And therefore there must be conflict and war, which is going on. Arab and the Jew, you follow? Middle East and the Far East, and so on. You see that? So you are learning that where there is a division, listen to this carefully, there must be conflict. So in relationship, where there is a division, there must be conflict. If in that relationship the pleasure principle is dominant, there must be conflict. My pleasure and your pleasure. Right?
Actually, we are not clear.
Huh?
We are not clear about what is pleasure. It seems that, say, for example, I see a beautiful flower.
Yes?
One time, I feel like picking it.
Yes?
And then, you pick it. And other time
You don't pick it. You just look at it.
Yes.
Yes?
So, in the first case, when you pick it, would you call it pleasure?
Of course.
And in the second time?
Idiotic pleasure, destroying a flower.
Oh, yes. and in the second time, when you just look.
Yes, that's also pleasure. If it wasn't beautiful, or if it didn't attract you, the colors, the shape of it, the perfume, the quality of a flower, you just go by.
Yes, but there is no division in that.
Oh God, no, of course not. There is no division. I said, Tunki, first of all, don't work at details, old boy. We went into that. Remember? Don't pick one detail and stick to it. See the general principle first. So we have come. Look, Tunki, we have said, somebody asked the first time, please let's talk about love. And we said, what is the principal thing in this complex map called love? What is the principal thing you see? Somebody said it is relationship. And we looked at the whole movement of relationship. The image, my image about you and your image about me. The relationship is between these two images. Right? And we said, in this relationship, what place has pleasure and pain? And we said, what is pleasure? We examined it this morning, right? Okay? Look at the whole thing. Don't take one little incident and get caught in that. Look at the whole thing. Now, are you learning this fact that dependency, which gives you comfort, pleasure, security, feeling of a conscious feeling of unity, but unconsciously there's a feeling you might lose. So all that is based on the principle of pleasure, right? That we call love. My wife, my husband, my house. You follow? So we are asking now, what place has pleasure in love? Has it any place?
As long as there is pleasure dominating the relationship, then there isn't love.
Are you saying this as a fact or just an idea?
Well, it's a fact.
It's a what? What do you mean by a fact?
Well, but what we have talked today.
So you are learning, huh? You say to yourself, I see this. Am I like that? Am I in my relationship with you, or with her, or with somebody, am I behaving like that? Have I put the pleasure principle the first thing?
It's the most important.
Yeah, of course, I'm going to find out. Have I? I'm related to Carlos. I say I like him. He helps me in washing the car. We talk about several things. In talking together, I feel pleasure. And I say, yes, I like to work with him. And I gradually build this relationship with him. You follow? And you come along and say, let me also help you. See what takes place. I don't quite like it. And he doesn't quite like it because you are a disturbing factor. We have got to used to each other. So we're rather cold towards you. Right? So that begins. Now I've learned a great deal. I'm learning a great deal. That where pleasure comes into relationship, there must be friction. Right? Right?
Only if there's a disturbing factor.
No, darling, no. No, Tunki.
From that example that you give.
No, old boy. Look, I said, no. I said, look, disturbing factor may be when he turns away from me. I've got used to working with him. And he one day says, oh, please go away, I'm not interested. And I don't like it. I get disturbed. I feel pain. I get angry. I get jealous. I want to hit him. And as he's a bigger man than me, I can't hit him. Therefore, I take it out of somebody else. You're following all this? So, pleasure is an extraordinary thing I discover. I look at a sunset, it gives me great pleasure. Right? Tunki? And because it gave me great pleasure, I wanted to repeat it. Right? See what takes place in my mind. I looked at that sunset, and at that moment, this thing is so beautiful, nothing exists but that. Right? Like a mountain. When you see that thing, the beauty of it knocks out all your vanities, the beauty is so enormous, it wipes away everything. So I look at that sunset. It's very beautiful. At the moment of perception, listen to this carefully, at the moment of perception, memory is not. Right? Oh no.
Sir, could you say that also when that...
Wait, I haven't finished yet. See this principle.
Yes.
Go on, Nelson, go on. I'll hold on to mine. Go on.
For instance, you said now, in seeing the mountain, everything goes and there's just this state.
Yeah. Seeing that mountain, the beauty, the majesty of it.
So every other thing goes, pain and everything.
Everything is gone.
Is that a sort of evasion?
No. Is that sort of?
Yes.
What?
Evasion.
No, don't bring... It is and it isn't. Wait a minute. What I want to get is this. Look, I want to show you something.
But then the drug does the same. Then
exactly. Drug, any form of escape from the fact. You understand? Not only creates conflict between the fact and the movement of escape to something to which you are escaping to. You understand? No.
Are you saying that if you look at the mountain, you're escaping?
No, sir. I didn't want to enter in the mountain, sorry.
Well, anything you look at.
No, sir, look. let's begin again. I look at that sunset, which is really extraordinary, with all the light and the glory of the clouds and the rays and the marvelous. At that moment, there is no experiencer or the experienced. There is only that sense of great beauty. There is no you looking at it, right? That's all I'm saying. Right? Now, when I see that at that sunset, there is no observer as the me. The next second says, how beautiful that is. Right? I've already moved away from the fact.
The relationship.
Wait. You've understood. Sorry, you keep to yours.
I'm sorry.
I see that sunset. It is really most extraordinary. Great delight. No, there is nothing. Only that. A few seconds later, I say, how marvelous that is. Did you see it? I've already moved away from the fact. Right?
I didn't see that.
And created division.
Yes, of course. All right, look, okay. Mr. Green and I are walking in the woods. And both of us see that sunset. And we are absolutely silent for 2 seconds because the beauty of it makes us speechless. 2 seconds later, I ask him, did you see the most extraordinary light on that redwood? The light of it, the shape of it, look at the color of it. Now wait a minute, what has taken place? Just stop there. Don't go any further. What has taken place?
Pleasure.
There was the sunset, which was extraordinary. The mind can't remain quiet watching it for any length of time. It needs immediate movement away from that in communication with him about it. Come on, sir.
But the beauty's still there, though.
Of course, it is there, of course, but I have moved away from it.
But why does it move?
I'm going to show you. That's a fact. Have you noticed it?
But you want the other person to see the beautiful tree, and then you can go back to it.
But I have gone away from it. The first movement is away from it. I may come back to it. But the movement is away from it, isn't it?
So you were talking about those first 2 seconds
That's right.
of beauty, but isn't that beauty already conditions?
No, I'm going to...
Is that real beauty?
No.
Aren't you already moving away from the facts?
Wait a minute, sir. I said to you, there is no conditioning at that moment because there is no experiencer.
But if you feel
Wait,
pleasure,
I just observe.
therefore there's no beauty.
There is no beauty. At that moment, there is neither the word, you follow? The word called beauty, the word called sunset, there is only that. Wait, there is only that. Not named, not say beautiful, ugly, nothing but that. Now, the mind can't remain long with that. If it could remain 10 minutes, you follow? Absolutely motionless. But it can't. because it has been chattering all day, going from one thing to another. Right? So, cease that for 2 seconds, nothing exists but that, then the old habit takes over. Right? I tell him, oh, how marvelous that was. The mind has already moved away from that fact by this saying how beautiful that was. It may go back to it. But it's already, going back to is already a different state.
So it has no beauty in itself.
I said to you, sir, there is only that.
Yes.
Then I translate into beauty, ugly,
yeah.
Pleasurable. There is only that.
Yes.
So, now what takes place? I want to come back to what we're discussing. I see that sunset. For 2 seconds, there is a thought, mind is absolutely observing that. Then it is recorded in the brain, right, as beautiful. It is made a mark on the brain. And it has been pleasurable, therefore it wants repeated. I go back to that wood next day and the sunset isn't there. I feel disappointed. Right? So what takes place? An incident happens. Any kind of incident.
All the time.
All. And at that moment of incident, there is nothing.
Yes. The perception.
Next second takes place. Memory comes in. Then the repetition. Right? Then the desire to have this go on and on and on and on.
Sorry, what do you mean by the repetition, sir?
I want it repeated.
Oh, yes.
So, the mind lives in repetition.
So, in the other way, what takes place when the mind doesn't go away, it stays longer?
Now, you do it. There is that, right? Look at it. Look at that plant, or that cedar outside. Look at it without any movement of thought, moving away from the looking. Now, there is a physical object, you can look at it for some time, quietly. But can you look, listen to it carefully, can you look at your pleasure, you follow, in the same way, just look. Or you are hurt, I've hurt you. And can you look at that hurt as you looked at that tree? Right, Nelson? See how much more complex it is.
No, it isn't.
Huh?
It isn't very complex.
Why?
I don't know, it's not.
Explain to me. It may be, why isn't it complex? Explain to me, Nelson. Go on.
Because, I don't know, some way I see what you're saying, and it does happen.
Yes. So, it's not what I say that happens. Be careful. You have heard what I have said. You are testing it. Testing it. And see, yes, that is happening. So it's yours, not mine. If you accepted what I said, I would become your authority.
It has no meaning.
No meaning. Whereas if you listened to what I have said, learned from what I have said, tested it, and in the very testing is you are saying, yes, I'm living it. You follow the difference? So there is no authority in learning, right?
No, it's different. As in looking at our problems, things which become problems now, the emotional memory tends to
That's right.
reflect itself, and then the things.
Yes, that's right. That's right. So I see in my relationship with you, pleasure plays a tremendous part. And in that also I see very clearly pain is involved. So we have taken love as pleasure and pain. Right? We say it must exist. When I love you and I say I love you, this pleasure and pain go together, are involved in love. Without pleasure and pain, there is no love. I used to know a friend, dead now, and she used to say, what are you talking about? If there is no jealousy, there is no love. Right? Do you accept that? Huh? You don't know. You will find out when you get married. When you are attached to your wife, to your house, to your children, to your property, then you're going to find out. And now you can say, well, this is very simple. So I'm asking, is love pleasure? Is love pain? Right? I'm asking you, I'm putting you a question, right? My question is, after discussing all this, part of it, well, there's tremendous lot involved in it. Just as far as we discussed, I'm putting you the question, is there love? What place pleasure and pain in love? Is love pleasure and pain? I put you the question. Right? From whom do you expect the answer? Huh? From yourself? Go on, Lais. From yourself? Now, how are you going to answer it? Answer it.
From investigation.
From
investigation.
We are I put you the question.
The word itself, love, says that there is no pain, no pleasure.
But mankind has maintained it, oh boy. Don't say love itself. You understand? Look, I love you. In that love there's pleasure, companionship, dozens of things involved in it. And pain also. I put up with it. I say, yes, I love you. Which means pleasure and pain. Right? This is the average human relationship. Huh? However educated, however intellectual, however noble, however self-sacrificing, all the blah blah around it, it is this.
So the care of somebody is also based on...
No, wait, don't bring in, don't bring in something which we'll discuss, care. I must stick to this. I've asked this question to you. Who is going to answer it? Where will you find the answer? Because this is involved in love, pleasure, pain, relationship, conflict, all that we call love. Haven't you noticed in your families, your husband, your parents? All that's there. Now, how will you find out the right answer? Will you say, no pleasure?
So, could we say then that loving somebody or the state of love is the same as the state of watching the sunset?
I don't know what, you see, you are merely going back to memory, comparing. Don't do that. Take the fact. The fact, as we explained, which you have agreed, which you see. Now, putting the question to you, who is going to answer this? How will you answer it in your life?
So, but not knowing, look, only knowing love as we know it in terms of pleasure and pain, is that really
That's
a
right.
valid question, sir?
Yeah,
to ask?
is that a valid question?
Because we only know this. We
Yes,
don't know
we only
any
know
other
this. Of course, we only know this.
love.
This love.
Yeah, we only know this, pleasure,
Yeah,
pain.
we only know this.
Yes.
Now, knowing that, what is the next thing you'll do? What is the next question you'll ask? Say, I only know that, right?
Yes.
Somebody comes along, a person like me, and I said, is that love? I know you call this love.
Yeah.
I know you call this relationship. I say, is that love? Right? I'm giving you a challenge. Now, how will you respond to that challenge? You have to answer it. You can't just say, sorry, I don't know. I'm just going off for a walk, and I'm sorry, I'm not interested. You've got to answer this.
So one can look into that which one call love.
Which we have done now.
Yes.
I can expand it. If I go into more details, for the moment we won't. Now I'm asking you, how do you answer this question in life?
We have to watch ourselves when these different incidents come up.
You're watching yourself now. You are living now.
That's all one can do, sir.
I'm asking you, how will you answer this? What's your answer? How will you live a life, listen to this, in which these two contradictory factors of pleasure and pain are all right, let me put it this way. Can you live a harmonious life in which the conflict of the two doesn't exist?
So that's just a theory.
Huh?
That's just a theory to us.
I'm asking you. I don't say that's a theory. I'm asking you.
But I mean, if I ask myself that question,
How will you
caught in opposites.
go find out how you will answer it? Will you say, sorry, I can't do that. I like to live in this disharmony. Because I know no other answer. Listen to it. Right? I know no other answer. I only know this.
Right. Do I know it?
Of course, obviously, sir.
But I mean, do I really? Some people are prepared to go on like that also. They're not interested, as you say.
Please, sir, look, I have explained fairly fully, sufficiently, the life that one leads, the life of relationship in which one calls love, is this, right? This field which we have sufficiently described, explained, explored. We can explore much more. And I say to myself, what's the answer? What? Is that my life, rest of my life, that? This conflict?
One can ask that, sir, but can I ask what is the answer?
I'm going to find out.
I see.
I don't say, just put the question, just draw. I want to find out.
They've got to stay with the problem.
Yes, that is the problem.
So,
Right.
excuse me, so can I take us back, because I got stuck somewhere further back. You asked the question, we talked about looking at the tree, and
The sunset and so on.
yes, and you said as you look at the tree there's no division between oneself and the tree, and you asked if it were possible to look at one's pleasures
In the same way.
But for myself personally, I'm aware of a division between myself and the tree just in the same way as I'm aware of myself looking at the pleasures.
So I say, when you look at your pleasure, is the observer different from the thing observed? Or are both the same?
Depends how you look.
You have to remember it. And if
Remember what?
you have to remember that you had the pleasure, that it gave you pleasure.
Yes.
The moment after you see it,
Yes.
you remember that it gave you either pleasure or pain.
Which means what?
That pleasure and pain are based on remembering.
Which is the pleasure of the sunset has left a mark on the brain.
Right.
The pain has left a mark.
Yes.
Which are both memories.
Right.
And these memories are always in conflict. The memory of pleasure pursuing pleasure and avoiding pain.
Yes.
The memory,
Memory.
yes, the memories of both of them are there.
But is memory valid in this sense?
Of course it's valid because it's there.
So I still haven't grasped this, that you say that, can you see that they're one, that the observer
Look, sir, the observer is the observed,
is the same as the observer?
isn't it? Look, sir, keep it on a very, very, very simple level. Anger. I get angry. At the moment of anger, there's only that state of emotion, which I've identified with a word called anger. Oh, I don't want to complicate it. I'm angry. Then I say to myself, I mustn't be angry. The entity that says I mustn't be angry looks as though he was different from anger. Right? When you say I mustn't be angry, the I is different from anger. No?
Yes, yes.
This is
You've already
I didn't really
divided.
see that.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
You see,
You don't see that, sir?
I don't see that I do that myself.
Have you never said, I must not be? I must not? Or I must be? Of course you have. You may not do it now.
No.
You must have done it. So there is I and the not I. The I saying to the not I, which is, I must not be angry. In that there is division. But the I who says, I must not be angry, has known anger. Otherwise you wouldn't recognize anger. Therefore, the observer is the observed for the moment. Let's go. Look, let's come back. I have lived a life, I still live a life, in which married, house, children, in which this battle has been going on, pleasure and pain. That's my life, right? Which I call love. And you come along and say to me, is that love? I don't say, oh, brush you off, because what you say, I have been questioning. You follow? I have been asking. It hasn't been articulated. It hasn't been put into words. I have felt something. You have put it into words, and you say, is that love? So you have set me in action. You follow? More. Now I'm asking, who is going to answer my question? Will the communists answer it? Will Jesus, Hindu, Buddha, will anybody answer this? Or I have to find out myself? I have to find out how shall I find it out? When my whole brain, a whole mind is on this principle of pleasure and pain. Is conditioned that way. You're following all this?
Excuse me. Are you asking, is that love, or are you asking, is there anything which is not this love which we?
Yes, that's right. I'm saying the same thing, both positively and negatively. Now, how shall I find out? Because my mind, brain, my whole thinking is based on this.
Can this mind, which works between these two opposites,
Yes.
find any freedom?
So what shall I do? You have understood my question? Please do listen to what I'm asking.
I cannot use the mechanism of the brain to investigate.
So what shall I do?
Nothing.
Huh?
Nothing.
What do you mean by nothing?
One can do
So
nothing.
just let it go. He's challenged me. And I've taken that challenge terribly seriously. Because I'm a very serious person. Life is serious. Life demands that I be serious. Not endlessly go on playing this game. So you have challenged me. And I've accepted it seriously. And I say, yes, this is my life. And you say, is that love? And who will answer me? No book, obviously. No priest, no church. They are caught in the same thing. So I say, how shall I find this out? Because my mind is conditioned by this principle of pleasure and pain. So the mind, thought, cannot find the answer, right? Because thought is based on pleasure and pain. You're following all this? Nelson? Right, please. So what shall I do? I must find an answer to this challenge. I can't just sit back and say, well, someday I'll think about it, someday we'll find. It is a burning thing.
So first of all, one should get in direct contact with it.
I don't know.
Otherwise you have...
Listen to it. So how am I to get a direct contact with what?
With that condition, with that life as I lead it in opposites.
I'm very clear. I live that. I'm in contact daily. My wife says something pleasurable, etc., all that business. I'm living it.
Yes, but living it that way really means a state of habit of the mind responding to
Agreed.
that out of habit,
Agreed.
which is
The habit of mind.
which you have no contact with it.
The habit of mind. Oh, you're missing something. Do listen to it, sir. The habit of the mind, the habit of centuries upon centuries of time which has conditioned the brain, you follow, on this principle. I live that my life, and I have accepted it. And you come along and say, is that love? And I say, Joe, I never thought about that. For the first time, I'm questioning it. I'm doing it now. I'm questioning it. I want to find the right answer to this. Now you say, where shall I look? I can't look in anywhere, right? Therefore, I look at myself. I say, I am that. I am that. My whole brain, my whole activity is based on this. And realizing that, what is the next step? What is the next thing? You understand my question? Do you really? Now, what's the answer for you?
So isn't the very realizing the thing you are doing?
That have you realized the thing you're doing? That you are caught in a trap.
But isn't that
Wait.
all one?
Have you realized you're caught in a trap?
Yes, sir.
Huh?
Yes.
I come along and say, look, what you're doing, that isn't love. How will the mind break that trap?
Thought or the mind?
Don't answer me yet. You see, I'm asking you a question. You haven't assimilated my question. I say you're caught in this trap of civilization, of culture, of thousands years of conditioning. Not only your brain, my human mind. And I say, get out. Get out of that trap. Why don't you?
Because I'm caught in it.
Why don't you get out of that trap? Wait. You will say, how am I to get out of it?
No.
Wait, just listen, sir. 2 minutes, just listen. How will you get out? You'll say, I am caught in this beastly thing, which human mind has created, and the human mind says, I must get out. Don't say anything, just listen. The human mind has created this problem, right? And the human mind says, I must resolve this problem. Can the human mind resolve this problem? Therefore what?
It stops.
Don't answer me, but see the problem. Nelson, have you understood this?
Yes, but when you say that when I am in this trap, myself, I don't realize it until somebody comes and points it out.
I'm pointing it out to you now, old boy. Doesn't matter, leave it for the moment. I'm pointing it out to you.
So is part of that trap, just to come back to a previous point, if I may, is like seeing that a sunset, the seeing of that sunset is just a seeing, right? Now, the moment I interpret, I say it's beautiful, that becomes my trap.
Yeah, therefore,
Can I look with the same...
I don't know what you see, don't remember that sunset. Break it. Start anew.
But I must have a direct relationship with the thing I'm looking at. I'm not looking through something.
Don't introduce all these factors, old boy. Sorry to call you old boy. Just listen to it. Listen to it. My mind, this human mind, has lived in this pattern of behavior, of thought, of action on relationship, pleasure, pain, which I've called love. It has lived on that. Thousands of years. It's got used to it. And you come along and tell me, listen to old boy, clearly listen very carefully, is that love? And I, who have watched the growth of man, who have listened, who have watched how the world behaves, the conflicts, and I say, that's my life. I live that way. That's my fact. I don't run away from the fact. That is so. And the mind says, how am I to get out of this?
But that's running away.
Listen to it, listen to it. How am I to get out of it? So I say, look, the mind which has created this problem says, how am I to get out of it? So the mind is playing again a trick upon itself, right? The mind has created the baby, and the mind says, how am I to get rid of the baby? Right? So I see that as I see the sunset.
Yes.
I don't say anything, I just see that. Right? So what takes place then?
I just got stuck. Well, I went on. I said, but I see that as long as there is the desire to move from this place, from this state.
That's right. That's right. Let's go on. Don't put it into words. You will get it.
I can't.
You will. Put it. You nearly said it, but go on. Know what you said?
Yes.
You said, as long as there is a desire to get out of it, remember? That's what you said. So desire, which has created this pleasure and pain, now that same desire says, I must get out of it. So it's still desire. Right? So what will you do? Desire created this pattern, and desire says, I must get out of this pattern. So desire is the principle. Now, can you live without desire? So I have to find out what is desire. Right? Are you learning this? What is desire?
Is the wanting for something that you previously had?
No, may not. You see that car.
What desire to want to?
Which is what? What is desire, I'm asking, not the object of desire.
Separation.
No, no, my darling, just listen. Huh? Huh? Basically, Lai says it's thought, right? Look, Nelson. I see a beautiful house. Right? As I go by, I see a lovely house, beautifully kept garden, lovely proportions. The windows and everything looks so beautiful. I look at it. The very looking creates the sensation, doesn't it? Then I say, I wish I could live there. That is, seeing, sensation, desire. So desire comes into being when there is the looking, listen to it carefully, looking, sensation, desire. Then desire says, I must possess it. Right? So there is desire. So desire has created this trap, and desire says, I must get out of this trap. Because it says, in getting out, I'll find something greater thing. Right?
Yes, so is it the problem then that the way you look at it?
That's right. The way I can look at a car which is lovely, beautiful proportions with radial tires and lovely color and, moves and it is solid and it has got... I can see it, feel sensation arising, desire. I can stop there. Not say, well, I must have it. You follow? I can, observation, sensation, desire. There is the end of it.
That requires understanding.
Obviously. I've gone through this. I've explained it. So wait a minute, let's come back.
So when you say I can stop there, then that means it requires a lot of energy.
It requires not only energy.
Intelligence.
That's it. So intelligence is not desire. Right? Have you...
How does one know that?
How do you... I'll show it to you. The sun is hot here. Oh, but go on. Don't go on.
I just thought when you exhaled that I thought you were tired.
No, this heat of the...
Yes.
Right on my back.
Before you...
Yes, I know. I was a little bit. Now let me explain. We began by asking the question, what is love? I said it's a very, very complex thing. It's like a very complex map. When you know where you are going, the map is very simple. There is a line, there is the mileage, the direction, that's very simple. When you know where you're going. But love isn't like that, right? It's a very complex thing. And we said by looking at that map, there is a main current. And somebody said, yes, there is a main current of relationship. Which is quite right. Now that relationship is based on, listen to all this carefully now because we are learning. That relationship is based on image. We went into that. Your image and my image about you and your image about me. And the relationship is between these two images. And you say, yes, I see that. And in that relationship, pleasure and pain play a great part. We went into that. You see that very clearly. And you say, somebody challenges, how can you live that way, man? For God's sake, what is your life? This constant battle between the two? Is that living? And you say, I know no other life. I only know this. And what am I to do? Help me to get out of it. So when you say, help me get out of it, you are asking for a greater pleasure in which there will be no pain. Right? And I show it to you. I say, yes, quite right, quite right. I see that. At the end of it, you say, what is the thing that is always saying, I understand, I see it very clearly? Is it a verbal translation of what is being said, accepting the description and not the described? You understand? I can describe the mountain, and you sit there in a comfortable chair and say, yes, lovely, isn't it? Because you are lazy, you don't want to climb all the rocks and all the precipices. But you accept the description. Is that what you are doing now? Accepting the description? Or do you say, no, I'm not accepting the description. This is my life. I'm living this way. Conflict, pleasure, pain, agony. And in looking at it, you say, yes, it is desire. And I know very well you can't live without desire. I mean, the food I needed. I mean, to look at a tree, the beauty of land and the earth and what the appalling thing, that's all part of observation and desire. So I say, now, you say suddenly, intelligence. You said it. Right? And I said, what is this strange thing called intelligence? Is intelligence something projected by the mind? By thought? Or is it unrelated to thought? But intelligence can use thought. You are following all this? This little bit. I've observed all this. I've taken me days, years, centuries. I'm learning. I've observed this extraordinary thing in my life. I don't know what to do. To do anything is the action of desire and thought. Right? You said that, Nelson, don't get... So I said, so. To see that, to see any movement of thought is to create another pattern of pleasure and pain. To see that is intelligence, isn't it? So I said, can that intelligence operate in my relationship? Not pleasure and pain. For intelligence is something totally different from thought, which has nothing to do with knowledge. I won't go into all that. Are you following all this, or is it too difficult?
Do you mean observation in silence?
Huh?
Do you mean by intelligence is observation in silence?
Intelligence is the observation of a fact without any movement of thought. Intelligence is the highest form of sensitivity, which is observing this whole phenomena, which is me. Me is the phenomena, you follow? Me, I am this world in which I live. that which I live is this pleasure and pain. All this, can I observe it without any movement away from it? If I move away, it is thought trying to escape from what is. See that? So can I observe? Can the mind observe without any movement? That is the whole action that is entirely different from the action of thought. What time is it?
1:10.
So, can I just follow on from what you said? It seems that when one is, you say there is no movement away from, say, desire. One has a desire, too much food, and there's no movement away from it.
From fact.
From the fact.
The fact being that's what's my life.
Right.
My life is this terrible battle all the time. Oh, cannot call it this battle.
It seems that when one is faced with that...
Oh, you are facing it now, not when.
But being faced with it now, there's an anxiety.
Because you want to escape from it. You can't face it. You're frightened of it. Therefore, anxiety arises, which is away from the fact. If you can look at it without anxiety, without condemnation, running away from it, just to observe. We must stop because it's late. Whisper is waiting.